Let's take a look at the news on what's going on. Yeah, the G7 today earlier.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to Kananaskis and the 2025 G7 Leaders Summit. I'm pleased all leaders are here, honored by your presence. In my home province, Alberta, in the heart of the Canadian Rockies.
Boring.
We are also meeting on Treaty 7 territory. These are the traditional
Hurry
lands.
up. Hurry
the
up.
Blackfoot Confederacy, the Stoney Nakoda
You're
Nations,
lame,
and
Canada.
the Tsuut'ina First Nations.
Blame Canada.
And we're gathering
Blame
at one of those
Canada.
turning points in history. I think we all recognize that turning point where the world looks to this table for
Don't make me
leadership.
take out the song.
50 years ago, in France, a group of leading industrial nations got together in the face of global economic and financial crisis. The end of the international monetary system is known. Stagflation threatening. Challenges in the Middle East, geopolitical challenges in the Middle East, and it was the frank, informal discussions around that table in Rambouillet that led to a long period of decisions and prosperity at that time. Alors, nous avons la chance d'avoir le doyen du G7 avec Monsieur le Président.
Oh, don't even talk
and then
French.
following the fall of the Berlin Wall, the
Please.
G7 gathered
You're a
to
Canadian.
integrate those
Shut the
countries
fuck
that had been behind the Iron Curtain of communism and to accelerate the flow of capital and trade to the developing world. 23 years ago,
we must
the
stop
G7
dirty
met here in
language from getting
Kananaskis. We were
join
just
the
talking
clan. And my boy Eric,
when the world was still reeling from the aftershocks of 9/11, another turning point in history. And amongst the many decisions taken were control of the spread of weapons of mass destruction, a subject that we'll be coming back to. So as I said, we're meeting at one of those hinge moments, those turning points in history. The world's more divided and dangerous. Hostile states and terrorists have expanded their capabilities and their reach, threatening global security in our local communities. Global commerce, energy systems, even intelligence are all being rewired. En tant que membre du G7, nous avons la possibilité de façonner le monde de demain. Le monde plus sobre, plus prospère, plus juste et plus libre.
You even have a fake
Le G7
accent.
doit s'adapter pour arriver à ses fins. Nostalgia isn't a strategy. We have to change with the times and to build a better world. And some of you, such as you,
If you're
Mr.
gonna
President,
speak French,
have
why don't you
anticipated
even
these
fucking
massive
try?
changes and are taking
It's
bold
not hard to get the
measures
accent
to address
down.
them. All of us around this table.
Oh,
are
fuck, it's
reinforcing
French
our
Canadian.
militaries
It can't even
and
do it
security,
properly.
Services for the new world. But we all know that there can be no security without economic prosperity, and no prosperity without resilience. And in a world where shocks flow across the borders, that resilience comes from cooperation. Cooperation that starts around this table. Cooperation that can lead to a new era of prosperity, energy security and critical minerals, artificial intelligence, quantum, combating human smuggling and transnational repression.
Oh,
so
shut the
we will have
fuck
open,
up. You
frank
never
discussions
cared.
over the course of the next 2 days. We might not agree on absolutely every issue, but where we will cooperate, we will make an enormous difference for our citizens and for the world, and bring the next era of prosperity, I hope, to the benefit of those we serve.
Alright, I
Avec
just,
tout cela, merci beaucoup aux membres de
yeah,
Thank you, colleagues.
Canada's
We
a
have
bunch
some
of
work to do,
liars.
which will begin in a moment. Thank you very much. Bravo.
Get the fuck. Okay, anyways. As you can see, that was the G7. That was 9 hours ago. I wonder why they turned it off. Oh, look at this. Suspect in shooting Minnesota. Lawmakers targeted 2 others that night. Prosecutors. AP News finally did a whole finally cover up or overview. Cover up, that sounds bad. I mean, they cover shit up too. Anyways, is this a video?
A 2-day manhunt for the person
Oh,
suspected of killing one Minnesota lawmaker and wounding another ended on Sunday. Suspect Vance Bolter crawled to officers in surrender after authorities located him in the woods near his home. Bolter has been charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 of attempted murder, accused of posing as a police officer and fatally shooting former Democratic House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark in their home early Saturday in the northern Minneapolis suburbs. Senator John Hoffman, also a Democrat, and his wife Yvette were also injured at their Champlin home about 9 miles away.
It looks like he
Multiple
was shooting
agencies were
through the
there
door
as
right when they
FBI
got
laid
to the
hands on
door.
it, and Minnesota State Patrol put the handcuffs on. One man's unthinkable actions have altered the state of Minnesota.
Authorities have not given a motive for the attack, but police found a list of around 70 names in Bolter's vehicle, a fake police car which was left at the scene of the crime.
70
The list of
names?
names included prominent state and federal lawmakers,
Can we get
community
those names?
leaders, and abortion rights activists. Bolter
What?
has been...
Wait, what? Abortion rights activists? What? Why? What
described by friends and former colleagues
Fucking
as a devout
weirdo.
Christian who attended an evangelical church and went to campaign rallies for President Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, I
In a
guess he
trip
was
to the Democratic
crazy
Republic of
lunatic
Congo
who's
in
just going around
2023, he
just
served as an
whacking
evangelical
people,
pastor.
for someone,
He
I
appears
guess.
to have hidden his more strident beliefs from his friends. Meanwhile, tributes have poured in for the Hortman family, with memorials lining the steps of the state capitol building.
Man, motherfucker just went like full assassination status. So he went on a fucking manhunt. And then he got hunted himself. There's in the shooter's footsteps. First shooting around 2 a.m. Okay, so we had 2 a.m. Chaplin, Minnesota State Senator Hoffman and his wife hospitalized after Mrs. Hoffman answers the door and suspects opened fire after a brief exchange, right? And then 2:24, suspects arrives at an elected official's home in Maple Grove. So at 2 a.m., opens fire after. So the first and second shooting attempt happened pretty quickly, right? As soon as he got to the first, did it, and then he went to the second. Third shooting attempt, 2:36 a.m. Officer spot suspect in police look-alike SUV near an elected official's home in New Hope, Minnesota. Police-style SUV fooled officers who went to check on the official's residence. By the time they circled back, the SUV was gone. Oh, so they just missed him. And then there was another shooting. Fatal shooting around 3:30 a.m. Rep. Hortman and her husband are fatally shot and the family dog gravely wounded at their home in Chaplin, Minnesota. Okay, so he did basically, he did like 3 attempts. So it looked like he was like stalking and like trying to gather information at first. And then he pulled the trigger, right? And then they probably had the police call, so they were like looking around, wondering like what the fuck happened. And then all of a sudden this happened, right? Surrendered to police Sunday night after they found him in the woods near his home after a massive 2-day search. He is accused of fatally shooting former Democrat House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark in their home early Sunday in the northern Minneapolis suburbs. Yeah, this is the guy. Coordinated attacks on is there a list? Search for motives continues. Is there a list of his? I don't want to read this whole thing because I just don't care because I already know most of the facts. Right? He had a hyper realistic. Not really. It's just they found the dude like blocking it with light and shit, so they couldn't tell. But it was just a crappy silicone like Halloween mask. Oh man, this guy was strapped. Holy shit. He is strapped. Holy. Like a bunch of AKs and shit. Is that an AR actually? Oh yeah, that's the AR. Oh no, that's an AK. It's just he has a fucking he put on a fucking AR-15 fucking stock on. What the fuck is that? Uh it's an AK, but he just I guess he didn't wanna fucking he didn't wanna the standard stock for the AK, so he just got some fucked up AR-15 stock. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? What a fucking goon. Is uh no oh oops I tapped abortion proprietors, pro-abortion rights advocates, and lawmakers in Minnesota and other states. Among those named were prominent Minnesota Democrats such as Governor Tim Walz. Oh, so he was gonna go after Tim Walz too at some point. He asked for Ilhan. Oh, he's gonna go after Omar. Oh shit. He was even gonna go after Klobuchar. Oh man. And Tina Smith, General Keith Ellison. Oh, and Keith Ellison. Wow. Advanced Luther Bolter was reserved. I was gonna probably go hit up a bunch of senators. Shit. Well, there you have it. I probably shouldn't put it there. That's probably too much. You look that up here. There'll probably be more. I think he just had a court not too long ago. So yeah. U.S. and U.K. say they've cemented a trade agreement that Trump calls fair for both nations. The UK-US trade deal has been finalized at the G7 summit, according to Sir Keir Starmer. Karen Starmer, yes. And Donald Trump. I wonder if he's gonna fix his, assimilation issue. Donald Trump stated, "We signed it and it's done," while praising Sir Keir as a great prime minister. Starmer mentioned that the trade agreement is in the final stages now of implementation, and I expect that to be completed very soon. Trump expressed confidence that the agreement is gonna produce a lot of jobs, a lot of income. It's gonna produce a lot of jobs, a lot of income. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, the big, beautiful bill. President Donald Trump and the Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Trade agreement deal does not include steel tariffs. Talks continue about possibly reducing to zero. Banff, Canada enhancing trade between the U.S. and U.K. The agreement will reduce tariffs on British-made cars from 25% to 10% and eliminate steel tariffs from 25% to zero. Trump called the agreement a great deal. Oh, what a great deal it is. And a historic victory for both countries. Oh, yes. The UK will send 100,000 cars to the US annually at a 10% tariff, aiding British companies like Jaguar and Land Rover. Oh, you mean LGBTQ wire? Yeah, those people. Yeah. I don't see a lot of those cars, to be honest. Like, barely anybody buy. Hate to tell you, but there's very, very few people that buy Jaguars. Matthew Perry doctor agrees to plead guilty on 4 counts in connection to Starr's death. Dr. Salvador Palacencia has entered a guilty plea to charges involving the distribution of the K-hole related to Matthew Perry's death on October 28th, 2023. Perry, 54, died at his Pacific Palisades home from the acute effects of ketamine. After receiving large dose, multiple defendants, including doses from multiple defendants, including Palacencia. Authorities allege Palacencia supplied ketamine to Perry and his assistant. Taught untrained injection methods. Oh god. And acted outside medical guidelines. Palacencia could face up to 40 years in prison, though both prosecution and defense suggest sentence between 15 and 21 months. Meanwhile, 3 other accused individuals include other physicians have already admitted guilt, while one alleged dealer continues to contest the charges. This case underscores exploitation surrounding Perry's ketamine use for anxiety and depression and highlights ongoing investigation into doctor and dealer roles. What do Democrats say? Uh-huh. They don't even talk about the dealer, right? They don't talk about everything. Talk about the doctors. Facing 40 years, but both sides will recommend a sentence 15, 21 months. With the final decision up to the judge. Was accused of supplying K-hole to Matt Perry, administering drogus to him. Oh, there you have it. Be careful. Don't do drugs. Okay. Okay. It's easy, babe. In June 2025, President Donald Trump declined an Israeli proposal to eliminate Iran's top religious and political figure after receiving a detailed briefing from U.S. officials. The veto followed Israel's June 13th airstrike on Iranian nuclear sites and concerns from sorry, my throat was dry. Um, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin. Wait, where was I? From the Trump administration about escalating the conflict. Veto followed Israel's June 13th Iranians nuclear sites and concerns from the Trump administration from escalating the conflict. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged tensions but avoided confirming the veto, while Trump issued a stern warning against Iranian retaliation on U.S. targets. Trump warned that any attack against the U.S. would be met with an unprecedented and overwhelmingly military response from the American armed forces, emphasizing strong deterrence. Trump departed for the Group of Seven summit really? Canada, where the Middle East crisis was expected to dominate discussions as they urged a peaceful resolution between Israel and Iran. They should have just said G7. The fuck was Group of Seven? I hate that. But yes, it is the Group of Seven. Right, just like the BRICS nation have theirs, right? This is the G7 summit. Anyways, sorry. President opposes what you call Iran Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Khamenei? Sorry. Stating it was inappropriate since no Americans had been killed in the conflict. Also, look, just killing leaders has never done anyone ever any good, right? Trump provided limited U.S. backing to Israel. No, just look at the coups, man. The coups didn't work. Okay, let's just be 100% real. Stop doing coups. It never worked. During his military action against Iran, oh well, I mean, I shouldn't say it never was. Never mind. And hoped for a diplomatic resolution despite supporting Israel's decision to strike Iranian nuclear sites. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu claimed that Iran's actions made attacks necessary and warned about the nuclear threat posed by Iran. U.S. admin aimed to limit the conflict's escalation while supporting Israel's military action. Khamenei's removal would intensify tensions. Well, yeah, it would. It always happens. Yeah, it just says more or less the same thing here. So yeah, there you have it. I think I believe Benjamin Netanyahu was like, yeah, we're looking into it. We'll see what we'll do. Basically, it's just like, Jesus Christ. I hope he doesn't fucking do some crazy shit. And then the U.S. Embassy branch in Tel Aviv slightly damaged due to Iranian missiles. U.S. Embassy office in Tel Aviv sustained slight damage due to a shockwave from a missile launched by Iran early Monday. Early Monday, sorry. Amid ongoing missile strikes. The damage occurred as Iran launched a new wave of missile strikes on Israel in retaliation for Israeli attacks on Iranian military and nuclear sites. Tensions escalated into a fourth consecutive day of conflict, with both sides sustaining casualties and Israel claiming destruction of Iranian command centers. U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee confirmed no injuries to American personnel and stated the embassy damage was minor from nearby missile shockwaves. The situation led to embassy closure and shelter-in-place orders in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, as the U.S. urged de-escalation amid warnings on broader regional conflict, sorry. No injuries reported, confirmed Mike Huckabee. June 16th. They give a date. MC consult Jerusalem will close on shelter in place order effect amid escalating conflict. So they put this one down at the bottom here. Friday, health minister reported that 230 civilians. They didn't put they didn't put this. I believe the center, they don't put certain statistics, right? Because this is a rough estimate. Right, they're just estimating, so that's why I think the center, right, they don't put it here, because it's an estimate. They don't want to put estimates. They want factual numbers. They want actual factual data. Data. There's numerous commanders killed. They don't even talk about the commanders here. They do not talk about the commanders. Comrade. During missile barrages aimed at Tel Aviv, Haifa. Does that even say Tel Aviv, Haifa? No. Oh, they say Jerusalem here, though. Yeah, they had some in Jerusalem, I think. I mean, it's everywhere is gonna get. Those regions are getting hit. Especially if they're trying to hit, like, infrastructure and shit. And obviously everything's met with, right, the same amount of force in a sense. Kinda, right? Oh, yeah. I mean, you haven't seen people start trying to lob, like, right, the nuke! The N-bomb! Oh my god, no! Oh, no, that is... Oh, no! Can you not say that word? Can you not fearmonger? Not okay. Not okay, you fearmonger.
آنچه که ملاحظه کردید، صدایی که شنیدید، فضای غبارآلوده استودیو.
Oh shit. She was speaking in tongues and then I don't even know what happened. Right? That's what happened. I'm guessing the explosion like hit part of the news station or something. Yeah, the Israelis were all like, y'all talking shit. Boom! God damn. I'm sorry. Oh, it is, I mean, everyone's lobbing shit at each other. What do you want me to say? Someone's taking pictures. Click, 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 click. Snap, snap, snap. We got it right here too. Hey, there's a bird. Excuse me? You speak English? Sorry. Because it. Speak the language I need to understand. Apparently protests for no kings is still going on today, was it Portland? Or Oregon? In your organs? Right up in there. They're still going. And here's this.
The back-and-forth airstrikes between Israel and Iran are on their fourth day after Israel pierced through Iran's nuclear program in a surprise operation. President Trump is still hopeful the two can agree on a peace deal, something he says Russian President Vladimir Putin has pitched to broker. ABC's Christiane Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, the crack of missiles intercepted over Israel is on its fourth day and fourth night. Israel's surprise attack on Iran's nuclear facilities Friday that killed several top military officials and nuclear scientists triggered a series of retaliatory strikes through the weekend. So far, more than 200 civilians have been killed in Iran, 24 in Israel. Hundreds more in both countries are reported injured. The IDF tells ABC News it felt Friday's attack was necessary as Iran's military power was growing.
Can you imagine what would have happened if this happens when Iran has nuclear capabilities, nuclear bomb, and it's only a matter of days when we had to stop it?
Immediately after the attack, Iran's president vowed a harsh response, saying it will, quote, make Israel regret this foolish act. The IDF says its only goal is to remove Iran's nuclear threat, not Iran's regime. Officials tell ABC News Israel said they had a window to kill Iran's supreme leader, but President Trump rejected that plan. Trump, who was in Canada for the G7 summit, says the escalating conflict is now on the agenda.
Well, I hope there's going to be a deal. I think it's time for a deal, and we'll see what happens, but sometimes they have to fight it out.
Trump, in a phone call, told ABC News Vladimir Putin pitched mediating a peace deal between Israel and Iran, Trump adding he's open to the idea. Not all world leaders agree. French President Emmanuel Macron says Russia lacks the credibility needed to handle that. Christiane Cordero, ABC News,
Netanyahu
Washington.
was trying to, like, rope in the American people for some reason again. It's just like, dude, why don't you go talk to your people, right? The people who are closer to you, right? Fucking like Europe and shit, because they're gonna come after Europe too. Like, yeah, sure, they have it in their fucking, in their stupid slogan, right? Not to America, right? Bullshit, right? It's like they're gonna probably go to the fucking right to the Western countries too first. I mean, let's be real. Who are they going to attack first? And which targets are closer? Why would they try to go after fucking U.S. that's like so far away from them? Yeah. Oh yeah.
که شنیدید صدای متجاوز به خاک وطن صدای متجاوز به صدای حق و حقیقت است. آنچه که ملاحظه کردید صدایی که شنیدید فضای غبارآلود استودیو
Oh, is this our... Wait, is this really the Iranian TV news station? Jesus. So much glass. Oh, did the center get fucked? Slammed. Oh, no. A press person was, unfortunately got. Oh, have you seen, people try to impersonate, like, press and then get people? Yeah. That happens sometimes. You know, it's very easy for people to get these types of clothing and impersonate someone. You know how easy that is. It's pretty darn easy. All right, let's close it off with this. Yeah, and everyone started evacuating today. This has been going on since last night. Rushing back to the office right now as is President Trump. Yeah, as soon as the G7 concluded for the day, he left immediately back to the U.S. Oh, even the Chinese are saying, "Hey, can you leave from Israel?" Oh shit. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Oh, there you have it. That's been what's happening, going on in today's world right now. You still got people protesting at Portland, Oregon, at the ICE detention center. You got, these guys who are just about waking up now. Right, people are... Yeah, they just woke up, I believe. Yeah. Thank you. Please subscribe, follow, like, all that jazz. Much appreciated. Peace out.